Woohoo!
Music time!
With Steve songs.
Hey! Everybody's jumping, hop, hop, everybody's running. Don't stop, let's bring the fun in. Keep it coming now, get up, oh yeah. Get up, here we go. Come on, everybody, spread the news. Let's move, let's move. There's so much out there for us to do. Let's move, let's move. Everybody's jumping, hop, hop, everybody's running. Don't stop, you've got the moves, pick up the groove. Come on, get up, you got it now. Get up, come on. Do the windshield wiper, do the pogo stick, do the spin around. Come on, everybody now. Let's move.
Hi, it's me, Hooper. Can you guess where I am today?
Where is he going? What will he do? Where in the world is Hooper?
My first clue is I'm visiting a place where people come to see animals, but it's not the zoo. And here's another hint. There are lots and lots of fish in this place, but you can't catch them. Oops. Now here's the final clue from the dinosaur train.
There they are! Whoa!
Great clue! You can look at the fish through glass. Now let's go over those clues. I'm visiting a place where people come to see animals. Lots of them are fish. And you can look at them through glass. So, did you guess where I am? That's right! I'm at the aquarium! Hey, fishy, fishy, fishy!
Ready, guys?
Who's ready for more Clifford?
Ready.
Cool! I thought so. He's your favorite.
Clifford's ready for you. Weekdays on PBS Kids or watch anytime you want at pbskids.org. He's the one friend we all have in common. His name?
George! Dodo!
Curious George. Every weekday on PBS Kids, he swings into action to bring you the ultimate adventure anywhere and any way he can.
You know George. He just used his imagination.
Come along and explore with your curious pal, Curious George. Weekdays on PBS Kids or anytime you want at pbskids.org.
All aboard!
Time for a ride on the dinosaur train.
Catch the Dinosaur train on PBS Kids.
Behold the Erectodromius.
Erectodromius! Come out, wherever you are!
Ta-da!
It's amazing!
What a spectacular discovery!
On the train and off, there's so much to discover.
What are we waiting for?
Watch Dinosaur Train weekdays on PBS Kids or anytime you want at pbskids.org.
Thomas and Friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Dear Christopher, here is your friend Thomas the Tank Engine. He wanted to come out of his station yard and see the world. These stories tell you how he did it. I hope you will like them because you helped me to make them. Your loving Daddy.
The island of Sodor is surrounded by beautiful blue sea. It has fields of green and sandy yellow beaches. There are rivers, streams, and lots of trees where the birds sing. There are windmills and a coal mine and docks where visitors to the island arrive. The island also has lots and lots of railway lines. Who's that puffing down the track? It's Thomas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the island of Sodor.
Winter was passing, but there was still one or two late frosts which made everything look sugar-coated and sparkling in the spring sunshine. Each morning, Donald and Douglas took turns pulling a ballast train from the small railway to the big station, where James would take it to a place where the line was being mended. One morning, Donald was uncoupled from the train and ran off to rest in a short siding so James could take the trucks ahead. But a hard frost had made the rails icy. When Donald tried to stop, his wheels locked and slid on the ice. The buffers stopped him. That's what they were there for. But they were badly damaged. Donald wasn't hurt, but he was embarrassed. The other engines teased him. "Who's going to join the skating championships?" they said. Even Donald laughed, though he was worried about what the Fat Controller might say. But the Fat Controller only warned him to be more careful. He knew it wasn't Donald's fault. The next day, some workmen were sent to mend the buffers. At last, James's repair work on the line was coming to an end. "Tomorrow will be the last ballast train for now," said the Fat Controller. The next day, as Douglas shunted his loaded trucks into their siding, James was waiting. "Here you are, James," said Douglas cheerfully. "What will you do now that this job is finishing? Pull some passenger trains, I hope. I'm getting tired of doing the same thing every day." "Ah, never mind," said Douglas. "Today's the last ballast train." Douglas's fireman uncoupled him from the trucks and climbed back into the cab. Then Douglas puffed slowly into the short siding. At the end of the siding, the workmen that were mending the buffers were standing to one side. They had pots of paint beside them, and had just finished painting the buffer bar bright red. "They look smart," thought Douglas. "Much better than he did before. The Fat Controller's probably glad Donald smashed them up." Douglas moved into the siding. His driver put on the brakes, but nothing happened. His driver tried again. Still nothing. "Horrors!" exclaimed Douglas. "I can't stop!" The workmen watched in dismay. Douglas rode steadily along the line and smashed the buffers to splinters that the workmen had just spent 3 days mending. "Ouch!" exclaimed Douglas. The new buffers had stopped him, but unfortunately Douglas had been moving faster than Donald. He was in a terrible mess. His front was badly bent and he was smeared with bright red paint which hadn't had time to dry. "You silly great engine!" snapped the foreman, waving his paintbrush angrily. The brush still had some paint on it. It flew out and stuck on Douglas's nose. 3 days' work," the foreman said crossly, "and in 3 seconds you come and smash it all to pieces." Douglas's front wheels were off the rails, so James had to come and rescue him. Later, the Fat Controller spoke sternly to Douglas about engines not taking care in sidings, and the red paint was left on Douglas's nose as a reminder.
Someone new has arrived on Sodor. Here are some dots. If we join these dots, we'll see who it is. Can you guess who it might be? Let's join the dots and find out. Off we go. Whoever this is, he has a pointed nose at the front and some small wheels underneath. There's something long and pointed sticking out from one side. Do you know who this is yet? Here's a triangle-shaped tail at the back, and also something sticking out from the other side. They look like wings. Who can it be? That's right. It's Jeremy the jet plane. Welcome to Sodor, Jeremy. The island of Sodor is home to lots of Thomas's friends. Friends on the rails, friends on the roads, and even some friends in the air. They are all very different, and each very special. And they are all Thomas's friends. Steamies and Diesels aren't always the best of friends. One day, Neville arrived on Sodor. Neville was a Steamy, but he was square, so he looked like a Diesel. Thomas puffed into the shunting yards. He saw Neville with Harry and Bert. Harry and Bert were giggling gleefully. The three engines looked like firm friends. Thomas was surprised. If Neville was a friend of the Diesels, Thomas decided he wasn't a friend of the Sodor Steamies. Thomas puffed into Knapford. Soon, all the engines had heard that Neville was best friends with the Diesels. So none of the Steamies wanted to talk to him. Neville felt sad. He puffed away towards the iron bridge. Then Toby puffed in. He told Thomas that Salty had seen Harry and Bert playing tricks on Neville. Thomas felt terrible. He had thought all the wrong things about Neville. Now Neville was puffing fast to the bridge. It was Thomas's job to warn the engines that the bridge was broken. But Thomas had said nothing to Neville. Thomas raced after Neville. Neville puffed fast to the bridge. He saw the barrier, but he couldn't stop. He crashed through the barrier. Thomas raced up. He had to rescue Neville. He heaved and he hauled, wheel turn by wheel turn. He pulled Neville back from the edge of the bridge and to safety. Thomas and Neville are now good friends, even though Neville looks like a Diesel. Dennis is a Diesel. And Thomas quickly learned Dennis knew all the Diesel tricks. It was Thomas's day off. Dennis asked Thomas to help him shunt his heavy cars of slate tiles for the school. Thomas is always happy to be helpful. He puffed and huffed to help the new engine. Later, Dennis told Thomas he had broken down. Even though it was his day off, Thomas raced away to find help. Thomas didn't know that Dennis hadn't broken down at all. Dennis was just being lazy and playing a trick. Later, Dennis really did break down. Thomas was surprised that Dennis had come off the rails. Dennis told Thomas that he had tricked him before. That made Thomas cross. He had never met a really lazy engine. So he decided to show Dennis how to become a really useful engine. Thomas buffered up to Dennis and his freight cars. And together, they delivered the tiles to the school. Sir Topham Hatt was pleased. Dennis was very happy Thomas had helped him. And Thomas was happy to show Dennis that really useful engines make a lot more friends than really lazy ones. Toby is waiting at the farm crossing. He notices something in the old oak tree. Can you see what it is? Caught on the branches at the top of the tree, Toby can see a balloon. A bright red balloon. Toby is surprised. When Toby trundles past a babbling brook, he is very surprised to see a frog. A beautiful green frog. Toby can hear it too. Toby cheerfully chuffs past the church when he sees something surprising in the church tower. It's a bird's nest full of baby birds. Toby can hear them too. Toby stops at Farmer McColl's field. What has he seen? There, in the middle of the field, Toby is very surprised to see a mole sitting on a molehill. Well, puffs Toby, whatever next? Toby's day has been full of wonderful surprises. And there are always more surprises on the island of Sodor. All you have to do is look. Percy is ready to leave the station. He's busting his buffers with excitement. What's Percy pulling today? Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers. Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers and pineapples. Now Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers, pineapples, and a piano. Can you remember what Percy is pulling? Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers, pineapples, and a piano. I wonder what's next. Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers, pineapples, a piano, and presents. Can you still remember all the things Percy was pulling? Let's see. Percy pulls out of the station pulling passengers, pineapples, a piano, and presents. Can you guess where Percy is going? Percy is puffing his way to a party. When Henry thinks, he puffs out a cloud of steam. Look carefully at the shape the steam makes. Henry is thinking about one of his friends. Whose shape is this? This friend doesn't have a funnel. And what's that sticking out on either side? They're wings. Henry is thinking about Jeremy the Jet. Now, Henry is thinking about something else. What shape is his steam making this time? It's another of Henry's friends. Whose shape is that? It's very tall and has something hanging down with a hook. Henry is thinking about Cranky the Crane. Now Henry is thinking about something else. What shape is his steam making now? Henry is thinking about something he has seen at the Scottish castle. It's almost square-shaped, and it flutters in the wind. That's right! Henry is thinking about the flag that flies on top of the Scottish castle. Well done, Henry.
Rosie has come a long way since arriving on the island. She is now a cheery, hard-working little engine who has proven herself to be very reliable. When Rosie first arrived, she could often be excitable. Most engines didn't mind this, but Thomas did. One day, Percy felt ill. The inspectors looked him over carefully. "You need your tubes replaced," they said. Percy was concerned. "But who will look after the goods while I'm away? Toby is busy and Daisy won't do it." The inspectors telephoned to the Fat Controller. "I'll send Rosie at once," he said. A few days later, Thomas was told to go to the harbour. It was a cold, drizzly morning, and Thomas was being fussy. "Why did I have to come down here?" he huffed. "I should be looking out for my passengers." He soon heard a familiar whistle. Thomas suddenly felt cold. "Oh no, not her!" Puffing through the drizzle came Rosie. Her headlamp shone brightly. "Hello, Thomas," she smiled. "Nice to see you after so long." Thomas paused. He remembered Rosie well and how she tried to copy him. This made him uncomfortable, but he didn't want to be rude. "Hello, Rosie. Are you standing in for Percy?" "I think so," chirped Rosie. "I was told that you'd show me around the harbour for today." Thomas felt a little more awkward. He didn't want to be stuck with Rosie all day. "All right," he said after a pause. "Follow me." A little later, the drizzle turned to fog. It was thick and laid close to the water. Thomas and Rosie had to be careful how and where they went. Thomas, who did work the goods line often, was very out of his depth. "How on earth does Percy get around here?" "Probably without the fog, and by being shorter," laughed the driver. Thomas did not appreciate the joke. He felt cramped and lost. He then saw a dark shape looming in the distance. He braked quickly but couldn't stop himself, bumping into some buffers. The buffers, or rather trucks, rolled away. "Does Percy never keep this place tidy?" Thomas fumed. He then felt someone buffering up behind him. It was Rosie. She slowly guided Thomas out of the siding and back towards the harbour entrance. "Are you okay, Thomas?" "Yes," said Thomas shortly. "I'm fine. I'm sure Percy doesn't mean to keep the harbour untidy. I'll look after everything until he gets back." "Good riddance." Thomas suddenly wondered, "How were you able to find me through this fog?" "Well, you were shouting," giggled Rosie. Thomas humphed. "But I got a radio call saying you went down a siding you shouldn't have, so I went to bring you back." Thomas was surprised. "A radio? Engines don't have radios." "I do," replied Rosie. "It's in my cab. My driver uses it to talk to harbour masters when I have to help out at harbours or docks. It's very useful, especially in weather like this." Thomas snorted. "Engines are engines, not living rooms. Why bother with a radio when a whistle will do? Because sometimes a whistle won't do," said Rosie. "Not in weather like this. And what if the harbour was very busy? I would need my radio to hear where I need to go." "Huh, very little chance of that happening here." And Thomas bustled off to organise some trucks. Rosie was left feeling hurt. The little engine soon learned where everything had to be, and she managed very well. She could go where Thomas could not and was good with the trucks. Rosie also gave Thomas a wide berth. "He's just upset he's not with his passengers," said her driver. "He'll come around." All the same, Rosie made sure to leave him well enough alone. As the day drew on, the fog grew thicker and the sky became darker. Out at sea, a fishing boat was caught up in a strong current and fighting to make it into port. The engine strained, coughed, and stopped. Black smoke poured onto the deck. "We'll be scuppered!" cried the sailors. The captain held firm. "Prepare the lifeboat, men! Send an SOS to shore!" The crew frantically scrambled to their places. They could see the coast coming closer and closer. Back at the harbour, Rosie was taking on water. The fireman replaced the filler cap and Rosie was all set to go. Just then, her radio crackled. "The harbour master?" asked the driver. But it wasn't the harbour master. The crew listened closely through the static. "SOS! SOS! Ship adrift! Ship adrift!" Rosie was horrified. "Respond to them! Tell them we'll send help!" The driver did so whilst the fireman grabbed a lamp from Rosie's front and ran to the harbour master's office. Rosie trembled as she watched him disappear. "I hope those sailors can be rescued." "Don't you worry, Rosie," said her driver. "They will if we have anything to say about it." Thomas was still grumpily going about his work. He didn't want to be in the harbour and he didn't want to be working with Rosie. "Stupid fog, stupid Rosie, and stupid old radios," he grumbled to himself. Just then, the blue engine heard a low, familiar buzzing. He groaned and promptly lost his temper. "Harold, why are you buzzing about like that? Go away, whirly-bird!" Harold coughed crossly, narrowly missing the steam blasting from Thomas's safety valve. "Ease on the pressure there, old chap! Can't be helped! Had a little rescue call." "A rescue?" "Poor sailors adrift at sea. All safe and sound. Cheerio!" And Harold buzzed away into the fog. Thomas was left confused. He wondered where the rescue call had come from and why he had not heard it. The next morning, Thomas and Rosie were being oiled and checked in the sheds. "Did you hear?" asked Thomas's driver. "No, what?" said the fireman. "About those sailors yesterday. Them who were nearly lost at sea. Good old Rosie saved them." "Pooh," scoffed Thomas. "So she can swim like a boat now, can she?" "Of course not," laughed Rosie's driver. He then explained everything. Rosie felt very proud. "Well, Thomas, I did tell you my radio was useful." Thomas was abashed. "I see." He looked at his buffers. "Well done on helping those sailors." "Thank you, Thomas." Thomas chuckled. "You have really grown up a bit since you first arrived on Sodor." Rosie laughed. "I suppose I have." She looked at Thomas with a cheeky grin. "How would you like a radio, Thomas? You could be all up to date like me." "Pah," teased Thomas. "Be off with you." Rosie scampered away to the harbour, chuckling to herself. Thomas hadn't changed a bit. But she didn't know what Thomas really thought. He was now more respectful of Rosie, for he knows that thanks to her, help may only be a radio call away.
every day on PBS Kids. It's Curious George. The Cat in the Hat knows a lot about that. Super Y and Dinosaur Train. Watch them 7 days a week, only on PBS Kids.